one that's a little touchy, so I'm not pointing fingers at anybody in here. I don't even know you all well, and I'm not in a position of judgment. Just ask yourself, do I see me in this behavior? So when I talk about victim versus responsible, I'm talking about somebody who is victim to the world, meaning I'm too busy to eat healthy. Eating healthy is too expensive. I don't have the money to do that. I'm really not a gym person, so I'm just not going to exercise. These are all victim statements. Yeah, you don't have to be a gym person, but you really should find an exercise that you like. So playing the victim. Another example would be, and I use this one, so some of you have heard it before. Kathy walks into the secretarial pool, and one of her coworkers has donuts on her desk in a basket every single morning. So, I'm fighting a little bit of a flu. So you can walk in and eat the donuts and go whine to somebody, I really wish you wouldn't put those donuts on her desk every single day. They just call my name and I just gotta go there. So I have a client that comes to me and says, you know, I ate 3 donuts and it's her fault. She brought them. Please. Now, if the person goes in and does the same behavior, eats the 3 donuts and comes back to me with a lesson learned, like, you know what? I realized in the moment I was eating those 3 donuts that if I had eaten breakfast that morning, maybe I wouldn't have been that hungry. So that's more of a responsible statement. So are you playing victim in your world? Is your belief that the world is interrupting your food needs? Because I'm going to suggest that you're in charge. Every step of the way, whether you get it or not, whether you believe it or not, no one is pinning you down on the floor, nobody is shoving that donut into your mouth, and nobody is keeping you from the gym, but the choices that you make in your life. Now, people will say, well, I have a job, I have a boss, I have to travel, I've got this to do, I've got that to do. Well, a little harsh, but pretty true. Who applied for the job? You did. So at some level in your world, you have shown up and given permission for the circumstance that you're in. Not right or wrong, not good or bad. Just notice that. Because here's the good news. When you notice that you are in control and that the world is not doing it to you, it is a very empowering lesson. You get to make different choices. You get to take charge of your health. You get to take charge of your body. Because when they serve the food to you in the restaurant and it's got all the dressing and all the gravy and all this and all that, did you ask them ahead of time to serve your food clean or dry or without extras? So we can speak up and be responsible. We don't have to play victim to the busy disease. I know sometimes that I'm my own boss. I can create the busy disease, and then I can create my excuses for not getting other things done. I'm aware I'm doing it, and when it gets to a point where I'm starting to drop the ball, that's usually when I go, oh, I gotta step back. I was sharing with a friend a few years ago that I was overwhelmed and I was feeling out of control in my life. And he was such a serene guy, and he says to me, put a sign on your door that says, gone fishing. Well, guess how I responded? You gotta be kidding me. I got this to do, I got that to do, and I went down the list. He says, whoa. He says, that's way too busy. You don't have to do that to yourself. And he says, second suggestion, make a list of the absolute urgent things you need to do in this moment right now, and then if something isn't done, the world is going to cave in on top of your head. That urgency. Then make a list of the things that you need to do, but it's not so urgent. Maybe you can do them later. And then there's the list when you're doing this exercise, because I've done the exercise, where you go, I don't really need to do all that. And that's on the third list. So in this real life exercise, I did my first list, and then I put the sign on the door and I left for 3 days. When I got back, nothing was wrong. I still had my clients, I still had my business, no one was angry with me, and it was all good. Try it. I mean, sometimes we make up a story about about how pressing things are when they're not always that pressing. It's just how we're thinking about it. So we can play victim to the busy disease. We can play victim to restaurants. Speak up in a restaurant. If you want the waitress and the restaurant to support your health and fitness needs, you really got to tell them what you want. Because they're going to serve the salad with the dressing on top. Well, they're going to serve you huge portions in some restaurants. And then it'll be your responsibility to eat what you need and do something else with the rest. Either share a plate with a friend or take it home in a doggy bag. My husband and I go out for date night on Saturday night. Sometimes we get fajitas. This restaurant just loads us up with tons of food. We take the leftovers and we put it into egg white omelets for Sunday brunch. And it's, we don't waste. Do you hang out with people that, not necessarily at a conscious level, maybe at a subconscious level, maybe they don't know they're doing it, but they're sabotaging your health and fitness goals? Sitting around at a table and you're choosing to eat something healthy, and somebody says, "You're skinny enough, what do you need to eat that for? Why do you have a burger?" Well, I like a chicken Mediterranean salad. This is a true story. I was at Junior Seance, and I was coaching a personal growth seminar. So we went out to eat, and I was with all the personal growth instructors. We're all sitting there, and we're at Seo's restaurant, and I ordered the chicken Mediterranean salad. Now, I don't order that because I'm on some kind of a diet. I just truly like that dish. And everybody else at the table was eating onion rings, french fries, and burgers. One lady was eating sushi. And so one of the trainers says to me, "You must feel so deprived eating that way. I mean, to have the kind of discipline that you have to eat that way, doesn't it get old after a while?" And I sat there and I thought, well, first of all, I thought, what business does it have is what I'm eating? And I wanted to be impactful in my response without being harsh. And I said, you know, we're all personal growth instructors here. Is it possible that you would find this dish in front of you a form of being disciplined or deprived? Because that's about you. Because I don't feel deprived or disciplined eating this way. And he went, "You know what? Thank you." He says, "Good point. It is about me." So it's because he would have felt that way. So know that if people are passing judgment on your food, it's really not about you. It's about them at some level. But avoid being sensitive to that. Stick to your guns. Eat what you want to eat. You know, just because somebody tells me that I should be eating burgers doesn't mean I'm running over to McDonald's. How are your time management skills? This is an excellent way to set yourself up for success. If you cook in bulk, I know that when I cook in bulk, I can have 3 days worth of food done in 45 minutes. And here's the trick. You lay out all the food. I'm assuming you've gone to the grocery store, you lay out all the food. Start cooking the foods that take the most amount of time first. So if I'm putting salmon in the oven and that's taking 40 minutes, it's kind of taking care of itself while it's baking. A little bit of lemon, a little bit of dill, a little bit of pepper, and then I'm moving on. Maybe I'm putting chicken in a Teflon frying pan with a squirt of hen and some herbs and a few little flavorings there. Well, that's frying on one side. I'm putting my rice in the rice cooker, and that takes 20 minutes, and it'll be all taken care of by itself. You see the trend? Start with the thing that takes the most amount of time, and as you're letting all these things cook, you could be taking out Tupperware, you could be taking out Ziploc baggies, you could be cutting up vegetables, you could be nuking things in the microwave. Create a system for yourself. The reason why I created that system, first of all, no one taught it to me. I created that system because I found that I was in my kitchen cooking all the time and it was getting really old. At the time, I was dating a 6'2", 260-pound competitive bodybuilder who ate 5,000 calories a day. Plus, I was a competitive bodybuilder and I was eating 3,000, maybe 4,000 calories a day. So that's a lot of food to cook. So without time management skills, I was getting frustrated because I didn't have a life outside of my job in the kitchen. So I forced myself into solution, and I'm really glad I did because then it opened up the world to